one of the biggest pain points I had with was every time my wife would get upset, every time my wife got quiet, every conversation I had with my wife, that voice in the back of my head was yelling at me, is this the conversation where your life blows up? Did you miss covering your tracks somewhere? She asked you for your phone the other day. She was on your laptop. She was on your desk. Did you forget to wipe everything clean? And now you're going to be busted and lose everything? What's up, men, fathers, brothers?
Yes, sir.
Men in, I was about to say men in arms, but that doesn't, like brothers in arms, comrades in arms, like, sorry, I made it weird. I made it weird, y'all. Welcome back to the show is what I'm trying to say.
Welcome.
Matt,
Recovered
good to
Dad.
see you, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes. Good to see you. Good to be
Welcome
here.
back. We're here at the Recovered Dad podcast in the studio. Matt, we're going to get some cold weather tonight, right? It's like going to get down in the low 30s.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my
low
goodness.
30s.
Savages.
Right. Crazy down here in the low country of South Carolina. Well, this week, we got something interesting for y'all this week.
Okay.
And I want to jump right into it. Well, actually, let me pause. First. Before I jump into it, story time, right?
Okay.
Tell you what's going on in real time. This happened today. Just
Gather
before
around.
we, huddle up. So my daughter is 10. And if you see us on video, right? If you check out our website, therecovereddad.com, you'll see photos of me, right? I have a red beard. I used to have red hair. My children stole it all from me. Now I'm bald, right? My hair got to the point where it thinned out and I had to shave it off. But anyways, so all my kids have red hair. My daughter is 10. She's in 5th grade. And just at the beginning of this week, she learned that they're having auditions today. They had auditions just 2 hours ago for the elementary school version of the play Annie, Little Orphan Annie, which if you've seen the original, Little Orphan Annie was a red-haired little girl, bright red curly hair. The remake with, what's his name? Jamie Foxx, right? Not a red-haired little girl, right? Different actor for Daddy Warbucks, right? So, but my daughter, very, very excited for this, really wants to get the role of Annie, which makes sense. She has red curly hair. She can sing, she can dance, she can act.
Yep.
Last night, she was stressing. This week, she's been stressing out, practicing her audition, practicing singing the song, learning some lines for the audition. She's also auditioning for one of these School of the Arts coming up, I think, next week. So she's been practicing her theatrical auditioning skills. And I was having a conversation with my wife just an hour ago. We were having some unstructured time, getting some steps in, going for a little walk, having a conversation how our daughter really wants this role, really wants it. And she was, nitpicking everything. Was I too loud? Was I too soft? Was I on key? Was I singing in the right key? Did they like the song? Did they like this? Right? Just analyzing everything to the point of hysterics, practically, because she really wants to get cast as Annie. Now, my daughter's 10. The odds are pretty good, honestly, that she's going to get cast for the role. She looks like Annie. She can sing, she can dance, she can act. I'm like, oh, she's a shoo-in from my perspective. However, I also know how life works. It may be that the director is not looking for a little red hair 5th grade girl to be Annie. They may be going in a different direction. Who knows? What I do know is if my daughter does not get cast as Annie, it is going to be painful. It's going to be painful. There's going to be some emotional pain, mental anguish over this. So this is the situation that I'm in today. We don't know whether she got the role. She just had the audition today. I will update y'all in a later episode as soon as I know.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But if you're a dad, you've been in a situation like this where your kids are trying to do something, going out for the team, they're auditioning for a role, their emotions are high, they're second guessing everything. And I mean, as dad, I'm like, okay, is this really that big a deal? It's a 5th grade play. It's a 30-minute production. And let's be honest, the only reason parents go is to see their kid on stage. They don't go for the production value. Although I will say the Disney Jungle Book version they did last semester, not terrible. But let's be honest, guys. If you're a dad, you go to your kids' stuff because you're the dad. You know, one, single guys don't go to those things because one, that'd be super creepy. And two, they can go to an actual production, the Broadway version or off-Broadway of Annie with their date and have a good time. So that's the situation. And as I was thinking about it today, I was talking to my wife was like, if she gets the role, I want to be able to celebrate with her. And if she doesn't, I am going to be there to cry with her. And step into the sadness with her so she is not alone. And me being able to do that as her dad, I didn't used to be able to. I didn't used to could, right? But these days, I have been, one of the benefits of recovery is building that emotional intelligence, emotional resilience muscle. Understanding how my emotions impact my life. Okay? Now we're getting into the meat of today's episode. We're gonna dig down into some like specific tools. Matt, any comments or hand grenades to lob so far?
No, I'm just curious. What does this all have to do with?
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked that. I'll tell you why. Because dads, as fathers, unpopular opinion, possibly, hot take, you don't have a problem. You have a pain problem. You have an emotional pain problem, and is the drug of choice. That's how it was for me. Circumstances would hit, the story in my head would explode, my emotions would just rage out of control. I wouldn't know how to handle it in a healthy. I wouldn't even know what I needed. I would just recognize I am in so much pain and anguish, emotionally, mentally, whateverly, physically, spiritually. Was the pain pill that would make the pain go away for a brief amount of time. So the stuff that we're talking about, this skill set of emotional resilience, emotional intelligence, I found it through recovery. I found it because of the grip that had on me, because of my addiction to. And brother, if you can learn this skill without going through the addiction, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. But whether is your drug of choice or drugs or anger, right? A lot of dads, we're just walking around in a rage all the time. I didn't realize how angry I was until I had kids. If you're not laughing, I know you're lying, right? If that's like we all know as dads, right? I was so patient, and then my kids showed up. So anyways, let's jump into it. Okay, so now in the Recover Dad, in the Liberation Bootcamp, we have this tool that we teach. It's called the 4-rack formula. The 4-rack formula. And actually, you can download this over on our website. You can download it at recoverdad.com. And there's a link. Father freedom father, what's it called, Matt? Help me out here.
Father's freedom framework, which contains
Father's freedom Father's freedom framework, right? Father's freedom framework, which has this formula in it. Okay. Yeah. Now, this formula is specifically designed to help dads with the pull that has. But you may have seen this somewhere else, because this whole system, this process, it's not exclusive to us. Right? The first time I ever heard of anything like this was with a life coach, Brooke Castillo. She calls it the model. I heard it when in the Dad Edge men's community called the Cube. In the Liberation Bootcamp, the 4-rack formula. It's this process of dealing with your circumstances, dealing with reality the way it is. Now, I'm going to go through the 4-rack formula specifically because, I mean, this is the Recovered Dad, and I want you to have this tool. So if you go over to the website, you guys can download this and, start working on it.
Yep.
You can even join the Liberation Bootcamp for like the heavy hitting training. Get like boot camp level tactical training in how to do this stuff.
Right. So
you don't have to figure it out on your own over the next 4 years. You can, hardline it. Is that a word? You could, hardcore.
I get it.
I'm not sure I should use hardcore on a Recovered Dad podcast, but you know what I'm talking about, bro. It's like, right? You can level up a lot faster in the 90-day boot camp with this tool. But anyway, here's how it works. When the emotions flare up, when the story in our head starts to spike, the DJs crank the volume to 11. We have 4 R's, like 4 RAC. So 1, remember the pain.
Yes.
That's the first R. What are you moving away from? Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the biggest pain points I had with was every time my wife would get upset, every time my wife got quiet, every conversation I had with my wife, that voice in the back of my head was yelling at me, is this the conversation where your life blows up? Did you miss covering your tracks somewhere? She was, she asked you for your phone the other day. She was on your laptop. She was on your desk. Did you forget to wipe everything clean? And now you're going to be busted and lose everything? Or even worse, one of my kids, remember the pain. That's the first R. Second R, refocus on paradise. What am I moving towards? What is my why?
Yeah.
I started this journey because of my kids. 3 boys, 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl, and they are growing up in a different world than I did. The world I grew up in, you had to search, go on a search and seek mission, hunter-gatherer mission to find pornography. In today's world, we will find you. It will find you. My why is my children. Building a better future for them. Third R, resolve to my commitment. My commitment is I want that freedom. I don't want that voice in my head threatening me every time I talk with my wife. I don't want to feel the shame when I want to physically connect with my wife. I don't want to feel the fear that my kids are going to run into this and I won't know how to help them. My commitment is I am going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to kick under the curb so that I can help my kids live a better life than I did. Reflect on what you're needing. The 4th R. What do I actually need in this situation? I know last week's episode talked about that time I was on the beach on the family trip. Not a vacation for Dad, family trip. And I realized I am exhausted. I'm tired. The acronym HALT, HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. It's a great tool. Like, what do I actually need right now? And see, this is where the emotional intelligence and emotional resilience kicks in. Because the emotions are high, the emotions are flaring, the story in my head is going crazy, and it takes skill and practice to be able to sit and just sit to figure out what's going on instead of just reacting. It's like, I'm in pain. I gotta fix it. To take some moments to figure what's going on. Then, so we got through the R's. A, ask yourself what else. Okay. How can I meet that need in a healthy way? Go for a walk, take a nap, eat a Snickers bar. Right? I love their marketing. You're not you when you're hungry. Right? Like, they're not wrong. What can you do instead of the to deal with what you actually need?
Meet
to
that
meet that
need.
need.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the last one, choose the new behavior. Take action. Take action. So that's the 4-rack formula. Matt, did I miss anything?
No, you
Anything
nailed
you add, throw in there?
You nailed it. No, I guess while we're still on it, I'll say I love that you touched on the why around refocus. Those first two, remember the pain, refocus on the vision. That's all about the why of why we're here. Remembering what was the pain that brought us to this journey? What are we committed to shifting, and what are we committed to creating instead? So that's the why. That's the purpose piece of the to nod at the purpose roots of this conversation in this community. And then the reflect on what you're needing, and then ask yourself what else. That's where this emotional intelligence piece begins to really come into the picture. And this is where we tie in exactly, as you mentioned, what we were touching on with last week's episode. This is where we begin to build awareness and the emotional capacity to actually, what's present for me right now, and how do I meet this need in a healthy way versus going to my, as you mentioned, my pain pill of which has been the solution that's no longer working in my life.
So now we're tying this all back. Okay. Actually, before we tie it back to the initial situation, which is my daughter auditioning.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, got something in my throat, some phlegm or something, coughing it up. So you may have heard of like the model, where you start with your circumstances, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your results, right? It's a system where you can figure out how to get the results you want, and it's tied all the way back initially to your thoughts. The story in your head starts to play out. Your emotions react to that. There's a certain situation. The story in your head starts to play. Your feelings start to flare up based on your thoughts. Your feelings control your actions. Your actions get you specific results, right? The model. Or the cube, right? Cube, 4 sides. Situation, thoughts, feelings, desire. Mm-hmm. Now, let me tell you how I had the emotional intelligence of a teaspoon when I first learned this cube model. It was before I found recovery. I distinctly remember being in the kitchen where my boys were doing something dumb because they're boys, right? And I was like, this is what I see, circumstances. This is the situation. These are my thoughts around it. These are my feelings, and this is what I want. like machine gun fire. Pow, 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 pow. Okay, not quite machine gun fire, but like rapid fire. Bam, bam. I'm like, no, that is not how the cube works. The cube is an internal tool. It's an internal tool. Like, what situation am I in? What are the thoughts I'm having around the situation? What are the feelings I'm having around the situation? What do I want to happen? What outcome do I want in this situation? Right? So all of these things. We have the 4-rack formula, the model, the cube, and now we're going to tie it all back. My 10-year-old daughter. What is going to happen if my 10-year-old daughter does not get the role of Annie? What happens with your kids, dad, out there, who are little and they're dreaming of something? They put in work, right? Your 10-year-old son has been practicing baseball I don't even know how baseball works for when people try for baseball. Spring training. So your son's been practicing whatever he practices with baseball, or he's been shooting hoops in the driveway, practicing for getting on the team. And in your head, it's like, bro, he's 3.5 feet tall. There's no way he's going to make the basketball team. Or maybe he's really good. He's like, man, he probably has a shot in making the basketball team, right? We see our kids strive for these things. And what happens if they don't get the outcome that they're dreaming of? It is painful. It's painful. My daughter doesn't get the role of Annie. It is going to be painful for her. Mm-hmm. And here's the trap that we as dads fall into. The trap that we fall into is looking at our children and saying, this is not as big a deal as you think it is. That's a trap. Don't fall for it, man. Do not fall for it. Their pain is real. They've been working for this. Now, I'm 45. Objectively, I realize whether you get the role you want in your 5th grade 30-minute play, let's be honest, that really is not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. It is a blip on the radar in her life. But right now, she only has 10 years of life experience. She doesn't have 45. It's a big deal when you're 10, when something like this happens. And the outcome I want is I want to connect with my daughter. I want her to know that dad is a safe space. That when she's in trouble, dad will be there. And I'm training myself and I'm building the relationship with her now so that when she's 20, when she's 25, when she's 30, and she hits a wall and life punches as hard as we all know life can punch, be like, I need to call my dad. But it starts when she's 10.
Yeah.
With these things that really aren't that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, but they're a big deal to her. And before, I'll tell you what, I know how I would react a couple years ago. I've been like, babe, this is not that big a deal. I would not have been able to handle her emotions because I couldn't handle my own emotions. And that is the key, brother, out there. The only way we can build that safe psychological, safe emotional space with our kids, the only way we can live in this recovered dad lifestyle is by working on ourselves first. So if this happens, I'm going to jump right into the emotions with her. I'm going to say, babe, I'm so sorry. This is so painful. And I know you wanted this so much. And I wish you got it. I wanted you to get it. And I'm sad. And I'm just going to sit here on the couch with you and cry. And that's it. We're just going to sit in this pain together. Instead of telling her, hey, this is not a big deal. Why are you so upset over nothing? Right? Think about yourself, bro. I remember when I was like 9 and I desperately wanted to mail something into Publishers Clearinghouse. You remember that? That sweepstakes where you could win like $10 million for like magazines for life. Like you win $10 million. Like my dad said no. I remember crying all day when I was a little boy. And I remember my dad saying, son, this is a scam. This is not real. Like your emotions are not valid here. You don't understand what's going on. And honestly, I didn't. But that didn't make my pain less real to me. So, oh man, sorry. I've been up on my soapbox, I feel like, for the past 20 minutes. Matt, like, I'm not crazy here, am I? Right?
No, man, I appreciate the share and the story and kind of tying all this stuff together. My thought as you're sharing there is, as I'm piecing all this together in your share, it's like you joined the community, I would say secondarily for yourself, primarily for your kids.
Yeah.
You adopt and you learn this skill set. The skill set that you learn helps you interface with your kids in a more compassionate and loving and patient and all the things ways, right? And what you're also doing is you're also taking the seed of these skills, and you're also inherently going to be transferring them to your daughter. You're going to teach her how to be present with her emotions, how to create awareness around her emotions, how to be present with her emotions, and move through the emotions just like you're doing for yourself, and you're cultivating the capacity to be with her.
Yeah, exactly right. Helping my children build this emotional resilience, this emotional intelligence to be able to like, oh, what's really going on here? And my emotions are real, but that doesn't mean they have to control me.
Yeah.
Right? And it only took me till mid-40s to really start to learn this lesson. And that's why honestly, brother out there listening, I am grateful that I had the unhealthy coping mechanism card of, because it pushed me into recovery, which I don't know where else I would have found this skill set. I don't know. But I found it here, and that's why we're on this podcast.
Yep.
So that other men can start to learn this skill set and get on this recovered dad path.
Yeah.
So, man, if you're out there and you're thinking like, okay, this sounds great, but I've tried and not as easy as you make it sound. One, I don't mean to make it sound easy, because I know it's not, and you know it's not. Two, if you're in that situation, bro, check us out. therecovereddad.com. You can download that Father's Freedom Framework. Yep. If the Liberation Bootcamp, if you want to kickstart, add rocket fuel to this journey of growth as a father, you can join us in the Liberation Bootcamp, right? We can have a private conversation, talk about where you are, what's the next step for you, all that sort of thing. Talk with me, talk with Matt. Your family is worth the battle. Your children are worth the battle. And on that note, Matt, bring us home.
Brothers, thanks so much for joining us here today. Reminder, I just got to say, the Liberation Bootcamp, Yaden speaks with the same exact process and program he went through several years ago to bring him here. So
that is true. That is true.
Yaden speaks from the proof is in the pudding. He walks the walk, and he's a product of the product for sure. So Yaden, thanks so much for the example and the share and the story today, brother. Brothers, thank you for being here. Yaden, thank you for sharing your story. We love and appreciate you, man, wherever you are in the world. Peace and power.
Peace and power. Noble men.